Alright, so last time we did cover 4.2 elasticity, right? 4.2 was elasticity. And we had number one, I did not go into detail, point elasticity of demand. And the other one was arc elasticity. Elasticity told you the percentage change, how percentage change in one variable affects percentage change in another variable. So point elasticity, and the other one was arc elasticity of demand. Now, the first type of elasticity that we covered was price elasticity of demand. Let's see what's next. Price elasticity of demand. That's section 4.2. Next one, 4.3. Will be income elasticity of demand. That will be 4.3. The page is 139. And then 4.4. That's number 3. Cross price elasticity. Do we have enough demand? Yes. Demand. That's section 4 on page 143. And this 4.2 is on page, what's page? 129. Page. Alright, so chapter 4.1 was general theory of demand. 4.2 is price elasticity, 4.3 is income elasticity, and 4.4 is cross price elasticity. And this is what I'll be spending the rest hour 2 or 3 trying to cover those. So last time we covered a lot of price elasticity of demand. Now for every elasticity, like price elasticity of demand, you have a point elasticity and have an arc elasticity. For the next one, income elasticity, you have point and have an arc, okay? For the cross price, there is a point and there is an arc. In general. So this is general. Now, the most complicated is this one, and I'll be explaining a little bit about it now. So price elasticity of demand, okay. All right, so next concept to understand is the following. Let's take demand curve and let's make it a demand line. This is the quantity and this is price. And let's take two extreme points. Let's say demand moves from here to here. So this is area 1, and then let's take demand moves from here to here. This is area 2. So now a simple question is this area elastic or inelastic? And then 2 is area 2 elastic or inelastic? Okay. And to make even things a little easier, you get to think that this is like almost 45-degree line. Okay? So let's try and see from here to here, you got a change in Q and you got a change in price. Now, percentage-wise, which change is big and which change is small in percentages? Not in absolute value, but in percentages. Which is relatively high and which is relatively low. Again, this is simple, basic elementary math. There's nothing complicated here. All right, think of it that it's 45 degrees. If it's 45 degrees, it means that this distance here is the same as this distance here. So, in terms of percentages, which one is a big percentage and which one is a small percentage?
It will be the same.
Hmm?
It's the same.
They are the same in terms of length, correct. But in terms of percentage, they're not the same. For example, if you take it over here, you take this over here, and let's use one more dot. What is the percentage change in quantity from here to here? From here to here. The percentage change in quantity is almost 100%. Here, if quantity is 1, here quantity is 2. So you're moving from quantity 1 to quantity 2 is 1%. Well, what about price here? Price here from 10, you're moving down to price 9. So here, the change in price is 10%, but here, the change in quantity is 100%. So here, because you're close to the origin, a small change in absolute value gives you big percentage. Big percentage. So if you think this is 9 and 10, and if you start thinking this is 9 and 10, and again, start thinking of this as 1 and 2, let's try to make some basic calculations. So for area 2, we have a percentage change in quantity over percentage change in price. So what was the approximate about percentage change in quantity for area 1? About 10%. About from 9 to 10 or from 10 to 9 is about 10%. Okay? But the percentage change from 1 to 2 or from 2 to 1 is like 100%. Again, the exact number is not important. You will see exactly why in a couple of minutes. So we're getting here that the elasticity is like 0.1. Now, do you remember from last time from the notes? Is this elasticity high or low?
No.
Was it elastic or inelastic?
Elastic.
Inelastic. So this elasticity is
Inelastic.
low and therefore inelastic.
Small change.
Very small change. Correct. Now let's try area. This was area 2, right? Or area 1. What was I doing this one? Changing quantity. This is area 1. Correct? Area 1. Changing quantity from 9 to 10. Okay, this is area 1. Now, area 2. Percentage change in quantity. Percentage change in price. Now, for this area, the change in quantity from 1 to 2 is 100%. From 1 to 2, the quantity is 100%. And here, the change in price from 9 to 10 is 10%. So now we need to see what's happening. Here, it's 10 over 100. Here, it's 100 over 10. So this elasticity here is
Elastic.
10.
Elastic.
So the elasticity is very
High.
high and it's very elastic. So what is the lesson and the conclusion here? That you have different areas on the demand curve, some of which will be very inelastic, in different areas which will be very elastic. Okay? And as you move from the inelastic to the elastic area, or the opposite, from elastic to inelastic, there will be somewhere, maybe close to the middle, that will be number 3 will be equal to 1, okay? And it will be what we call, let me write it in red color. Maybe I wrote it last time, maybe I didn't. It's called unit elastic. Unit elastic is when elasticity is equal to 1. Okay. So what do we have? Number 2 we said was elastic and 1 is inelastic. So this area here is, okay, I can use colors now, red. This area is elastic, is it? This one should be inelastic, and this should be unit elastic. So elasticity becomes, as you go down, becomes less elastic. Okay. So how can we write this relationship? So we say as price goes up, as price goes up, elasticity also goes up. So this number 1 is very small, 0.1. Here it's going to be about 1. Here it's going to be about 10. Here it's going to be about 100. Okay? So as price goes higher, elasticity goes higher too. Okay, so this is the next important relationship to understand, that elasticity is not constant. That elasticity changes over the demand curve, and as you move along the demand curve, so does elasticity. So, now coming back to managerial economics or business, as in finance, the question will be the next. Is it important, is elasticity important for a businessman?
Yes.
If you're a businessman, the short answer is yes, of course. The question is how? How? Why, if you run your business, doesn't matter whether it's oil, gas, electricity, or hair salon and nails, why you need to know the elasticity?
Because I need to increase my income, my price.
Oh, because you need to increase your income, actually, because you need to know how to increase it. All right, so the income is very unclear word. I've been teaching it for 25 years and never understood exactly what the word income means. Income is unclear. Income is kind of like money that you get, and well, don't know what it means. Now, if you're taking the course before me, again, income is still not clear. We all know exactly what means net income. Net income is an extremely precise concept which is identical everywhere in the world, is defined by international standards. When you say net income, everybody knows exactly what it means, okay? And in this case, you should have studied, it means total expenses minus, total revenues minus total expenses. Minus total expenses. Now, so income can be confusing. Here, in this case, we're talking about only total revenues at the moment. So, total revenue is very simply price multiplied by quantity. You sell 100 units at 10 price each. The total revenue is 1,000. Okay? So this is the relationship here. Now, let's see what happens with total revenue when we're in zone 1 and then when we're in zone 2. So, total revenue when you're in zone 1 here. What happens to price and what happens to quantity? Does price fall? Let's say we move in this direction. Price fall a little bit or price falls a lot? Percentages.
For a lot.
Price falls a lot. Now, here's a simple, cheap trick about saying falls a lot. A lot, you say, falls with price with 2 arrows. That's falls a lot. It's a cheap trick. Okay, well, what happens to quantity? When price falls a lot, quantity goes
Increase.
up. But
Increase a lot.
no, from 9 to 10, not much. It's very small percentage. So quantity goes up. Okay. So what is the overall total revenue? Total revenue goes up or down? Percentage-wise, this falls a lot, this goes up only a little. So total revenue goes down. Now, we need to clarify this total revenue goes down when the price goes down. So when the price goes down, total revenue goes down. Okay, so the same way is, so this is, number 1 is inelastic, okay? So, where the price of inelastic, when the price of, let's say, area 1 goes up. Total revenue. What happens to total revenue? So, I'm still trying to explain this area over here. So, in area 1, if the price goes down, total revenue goes down. If the price goes up, total revenue goes up. It's that amazingly simple. Alright, now let me try to do the same exercise for area 2. Okay, so total revenue for area 2. Okay, from area 2, let's say the price falls from 10 to 9. Okay, so the price falls a little bit. What about the quantity? So the price falls only a little bit. What about the quantity? From 1 to 2? So the price goes down just 10%. The quantity goes up 100%. So quantity goes up a lot. So what is the overall total revenue?
Quantity will increase. It will be up.
Revenue will go up. So total revenue will increase. Okay. So let's rewrite now exactly the same thing here to see what we get. So price goes down, revenue goes up. Price goes up, revenue goes down. So if the price in zone 2 goes up, total revenue goes down. Okay. So now I'll do a little trick here because I was planning but not properly, and we'll delete this inelastic part over here to extend this because at the end of the lecture you all want to take those photos. Just give me 1 minute to complete my important thought and say, well, what about price in zone 3? It changes a little bit. Well, what's zone 3? Is unit elastic. If it's unit elastic, it means, let's say, price goes up 1%, quantity goes down 1%. When you multiply, no change, little change. So, total revenue changes a little bit. Okay, so this is, again, what we were talking, one of the most important relationships in elasticities. This is why you need to know and understand elasticities, and this is why you need to know if you're here in the demand curve or here in the demand curve. In other words, when this number 1 is inelastic, or when you raise price for an inelastic product, revenue increases. When you raise price for elastic product, revenue actually falls. And when you raise price for unit elastic, nothing happens. Revenue does not change. So we're coming back. Let me conclude the thought. This is very important part of economics, especially for business and for management, is that you need to understand how raising the price will affect your revenues. So it is possible that when you raise the price, revenue will go up, but it's perfectly possible when you raise the price that revenue will go down. So if the price goes up, revenue will increase if you're in the inelastic portion, and revenue will fall if you're in the elastic portion. Therefore, as businessmen, the biggest mistake that all businessmen, which are typically uneducated and without experience, because of course after 10 or 20 years of experience a businessman will learn, is to know whether you're operating in the inelastic or the elastic portion of your curve. Which means the following: when you raise the price, you can't assume that you will bring more revenue. People just say, oh, I'm selling 100 units at 8. If I raise the price to 9, I'm going to be selling again 100 units and my revenue will increase. Well, certainly not true. If you're inelastic, most likely. But if you're elastic, certainly not. Okay. So now, just providing the simplest example, which we all live with, at the moment, for the last 10, 20, 30, let's say 40 years, the world has operated on the inelastic part of oil and oil demand. That's why OPEC, meaning the, what does it mean? Let's write it out in English. It's kind of like everybody knows. What does it mean? What does the O mean?
Oil?
No.
Organization.
Organization, that's a very good one. What's the P?
Petroleum.
Petroleum?
Economy.
No, not economy.
No.
Institutes.
No. E, exporting
Exporting
countries. Okay, so OPEC. So OPEC always says that if they cut quantity a little bit, right? Just a little bit, 1-2 million barrels a day, the price will actually go up a lot, okay? And you can see that from the inelastic portion here. So you cut the quantity a little bit, the price will go up a lot for oil. I should write here oil, and total revenue will go up. Okay. So that's a very important relationship which affects you. And now the biggest, most important portion of OPEC is like 20, 30 different countries, will be the GCC, will be the 6 more important countries. Because there is another country, Russia. Russia is kind of like inside OPEC, but not really. And Russia is the world's biggest producer of oil. Bigger than America, bigger than Saudi Arabia. But that's another topic for another day. So right now what we need to understand is that if you simply cut a little bit of output on oil, this will raise the price a lot and will improve OPEC's revenues, total revenues, which is what counts for the government. Now, here's another piece to understand in general. Just because you're in the inelastic portion and you raise your price, your revenue will go up, that's fine. But if you're in the elastic portion, so elastic, if it's elastic, you say price goes down, then quantity will go up a lot, total revenue will go up a lot, okay, will increase. From here, it doesn't follow that net income or profit will increase. Just because your revenue increases, from here does not follow that net income goes up. Not true. Okay? So, let's try to repeat and explain again. If you're operating on the elastic part and you say, oh, I'm going to cut my price by 10%. This will mean that maybe your quantity will go up by 30 or 40 or 50%. This will mean that your revenue, meaning total income or total revenue, will increase, but it does not follow that your profit will increase. So when we say net income is the same as profit. Profit will not increase. Now the question is why? And then I'll get back to whatever your question was.
My question was for total revenue too, but you already explained here.
Right, so, correct. But now we need to explain why total revenue may increase, but profit still does not increase.
Because it's a low price.
Oh, because it's low price. Okay, let's provide a simple example. Very simple. It's actually quite realistic example. Let's say price. Price is 10. Cost. This is the cost. It's kind of like expense is a little difference. You'll have to suffer in accounting to learn a little bit of difference, and I'll be spending the next couple of weeks explaining a little bit of the difference. But it's very simple. You buy it for 10. Sorry, my mistake. You buy it for 8, you sell it for 10. Okay? The difference in accounting, and I'll be explaining again, is called profit margin. Profit margin equals to, okay? Is this part very clear? You buy it for 8, sell it for 10. Your profit margin is 2. Now, here in this particular case, profit will be simply, I'm making an example of 100 units because of easy calculations with percentages. Time 2 will be 200. So that's the first case. Now, second case, you say price lowered down to 9. The cost is again 8. The profit margin falls to 1. What about profit? Well, here's the thing. Before you were selling 100 units. Now it's inelastic. Maybe you'll sell 120, 130, 140, let's say 150. So you cut the price 10%, you increase your sales 50%. That's a very good increase. So you're going to be making profit equal to 150 units, but only 1 unit. And the answer will be that your profit will be 150. Okay?
So from 1 you get to 150?
150 is by profit margin is 1. You sell it for 9, you buy it for 8. Per unit, for 1 piece, the profit margin is 1. Before, you were selling 100 units, now you're selling 150, and you feel happy about it. And here 2 equals 1. Okay? So, maybe we can try to summarize. Okay, I'll write out a little bit to summarize this thing, which is important for a businessman. Let's delete this part, which I don't need for the course. Is the following important piece. So, we say the following. Profit. I'll summarize it as net income. Okay. Will be equal to, this is Q, which is quantity times profit margin. profit margin, okay? Now, what happens to price? We said we're gonna lower the price a little bit. We lower the price a little bit. What happened to the quantity?
Increase the
Quantity increased a lot. Quantity increased, so this price goes down by 10%. Quantity, okay, let me write it out. 10%. Quantity increases by 50%. Well, what happens to the profit margin?
Increases a little.
No, the profit margin drops from 2 to 1. The profit margin drops a lot. So, profit margin now drops with 3 arrows. So, even though the price falls a little bit, the quantity increases a lot, the profit margin falls even further. So, the overall result is that the net income will fall. Okay, so this is an important relationship. In other words, when you lower the price, the question is, how does it affect your profit margin? Okay, now I'll provide you a very simple example for you to understand. The price before was 10, the cost is 8, and you reduce the price to 8/10, okay? And here is 8. Before, the profit margin was 2, which is just about 20%. And here, the profit margin is 0.10. So here, the profit margin falls 20 times. 20 times. Okay? 20 times. So you drop the price a little bit, but the profit margin falls 10, 20 times. Easy. Okay? So just lowering the price and increasing the quantity, again, will not necessarily increase net income if it affects a lot your profit margin. So the question is always, how does it affect your profit margin? So if you have to summarize for profits, there are 2 important factors. The first important factor is elasticity of demand. How the change in price, are you inelastic or elastic? And number 2, it turns out to be what we call elasticity of profit margin. So, how is it going to affect your demand and how it's going to affect your profit margin? Okay? So, this elasticity tells you what's going to happen with the total revenue. This is going to be the revenue part, and this is going to be the cost part. We'll give you the net income. Alright, is it fairly clear? Let me see what I have. Point elasticity of demand, okay, marginal revenue, total revenue. Okay, let me see. Yeah, 3 more minutes and I can finish now. Let me see where I'm gonna write. I'm gonna write here. So, questions are factors affecting elasticity. So, first question is, so the next question is, what affects elasticity? One, I was explaining a long time ago, it depends whether it's necessity or luxury, right? So that was if it's more of a necessity, it's more inelastic. If it's more of a luxury, it's more elastic. But there are other factors. Let's get the first one. The first one is availability of substitutes. That's very simple and easy. Are there substitutes? Well, for the moment, there aren't very great substitutes for oil, crude oil. So demand is relatively inelastic. Last time I explained, and I'll repeat again to clarify this part. In Europe, we have very good substitute for gasoline. It's called diesel. And for diesel, we have a substitute. It's called gasoline. And for gasoline and diesel, we have a third substitute. We're going to get the picture after that. The third is called natural gas. We can run our cars on natural gas. So, for diesel, we have a relatively high substitutes. For gasoline, we have relatively high substitutes. So, the elasticity is relatively high in Europe. And for natural gas, because for the whole class of energy, we're relatively inelastic. But for a particular fuel, we're very elastic. Same thing, water. Suppose they raise 10 times. Okay, there's an evil company and raises 100 times the price of water. What is it you're going to do?
Won't buy it.
Yeah, you won't buy. Well, doesn't mean you're going to die from thirst. What's going to happen?
I was supposed to use something else.
Maybe reduce the quantity.
Yes, maybe reduce the quantity. Well, here's what I'll do. I will never buy a drop of water. Number one, I buy watermelon. Watermelon is 98% water. And it functions just as water. It's good enough. Well, do little babies, drink any water?
No.
Milk.
Of course not. They don't drink water. They don't need to drink water. Why? I mean, wouldn't it die?
No.
No, why not?
Because they have milk.
So what?
They depend on
They
milk.
have substitutes.
Milk has over 90% water. So, you, me, grown up, old man, or a tiny little baby can live all on milk, get all the fluids from milk without a drop of water. Well, there's a third, relatively cheaper solution, which I'm using quite often. Oranges, very high in water. Hey, they're sweet, they're delicious. They're like kilogram, they cost how much? 3 dirham for a kilogram. It's cheap, right? So I can peel a whole kilogram and I'm good. So there are substitutes, very easy substitutes to water. Number one, juices. Number two, fruits. Also, vegetables like tomatoes. Well, the highest will be cucumber. So I could just be eating cucumbers all the time. And I often do that. During our summers in Bulgaria, I never buy water. I just buy the cucumber and eat, okay? Or just carry me a pocket knife, actually right in here, okay? I just carry a pocket knife, and whatever it is, I just see a little, or they even sell watermelon by the slice. Again, available substitutes an extremely important part. Again, we said last time, same thing for rice. Yeah, rice, you can increase the price 100 times. But people just stop eating rice. There are other things to eat besides rice, okay? So, but for food in general, if they raise it 10 times, then it's going to be very hard. Because it's hard to substitute out of food. You can substitute out of rice, or wheat, or milk, or water, okay? But you can still switch around. But if they raise all prices for all foods, then there's not much you can do. So, the availability of substitutes, that's number one. Number two is time. If consumers have long time, 1, 2, 3 years, they can easily adjust and adapt, and they will increase their elasticity. Okay? So maybe if they raise the price tomorrow, you're not going to be elastic. But within 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, you're going to learn how to react better to the higher price. So time is an important factor. This is what OPEC learned when they raised the price to $140 per barrel. Suddenly they realized, oh, people are using a whole lot less. On the one hand, demand is falling, but on the other side, alternative energy, water, sun, okay, there are a whole bunch of wind and shale oil, not oil. In other words, both consumers will adjust and producers will offer alternative product. So elasticity definitely is very low when you have a lot of substitutes and when you have a lot of time. I don't think that, oh, they can raise the price 10 times on water and that's going to be the end of it. Hey, we're going to be drinking just tea or coffee. Okay? It's good enough?